Well, greetings. Good morning, or whenever you're listening to this, a good day. It's been a wonderful day. I'm in probably the late evening, or excuse me, early evening here in Colorado as I'm taping this, and it's in the 30s right now, so kind of chilly. So you can't see it, but my nose is a little cold. But anyway, I've got a really interesting lesson today that I've it's kind of a different one than I usually do. It's just something that kind of struck me. And so I started researching it. The title of it is Paying Close Attention to God. Now, what in the world am I talking about in that sense? Well, let me try to explain that to you about what it means to pay close attention to God. I love nachos. I really love nachos. When I choose to get a snack, it's there's cheese, grated cheese available, and tortilla chips. That's my go-to when I want to have a good snack. Well, not too long ago, my family and I, our two boys, decided to go out to a Mexican restaurant, and of course, I ordered nachos for an appetizer, a big plate that came and put them right in the middle of our table. And I hadn't eaten all day because I was kind of busy all day. And so this was the best snack I could have ever wanted is to have some nachos. So when the waitress came to give us to get our orders, the family had already chosen what they wanted to do, and I have too, for that matter. And so I had already started snacking on the nachos, and I wasn't alone; they were eating it too. But it wasn't just one or two. My boys can eat like crazy, so they were really going down on it. Well, she came back for the order, and everybody gave their orders, and I was the last one. Then it was my turn. But she caught me with a mouthful of nachos. And there I was. She's waiting, looking at me. The whole family's looking at me. And I'm sitting going, well, no. And I'm garbled about what I'm trying to order. And of course, everyone just started dying laughing. And they have never, ever forgot that and reminded me of it all the time about my nacho talk of that moment and embarrassed all of them. But at the same time, the waitress, even she started laughing. And so I had to swallow my nachos and order whatever I was going to order that day. But it was just I love nachos. And so what I'm talking about here is this impulse to really fully enjoy uh, what I'm having in front of me, but it conflicts with a more complex, more human capability, which is to consciously appreciate the experience of eating whatever it is, in this case, nachos. So why do we even bother to make nachos anyway? I could just put a whole mouthful of chips in my mouth and drink a couple gulps of salsa, and I've got the same ingredients, inside of me. But that would bring some enjoyment. Well, because we as humans have this ability, and we should exercise it, to really appreciate and experience what we have, rather than just seek things in accordance to our instincts of just eating or cramming in nachos because we enjoy nachos. But to be able to slow down or to be attentive to something that we really are enjoying or whatever it may be and fully appreciate it and be satisfied by what we're doing. And that's probably one of the best things about us as human beings is that we can truly appreciate things if we just take the time to do it. So we all have this capability, although it doesn't happen automatically. Appreciating an experience intentionally takes a very minuscule but non-zero amount of effort. It's really not that hard. It's nearly always worthwhile when we really do it because it makes the fulfilling and largely okay as it is what we have in our hands, that it's okay to have it and we really understand it. And it keeps our attention on what life is really all about rather than just a mental mirages of what could be or should be or might be. We truly understand what really is in this case. And I'm using the nachos as my example of that, in a sense that I was just eating them because I was enjoying them and I enjoy nachos. But did I fully appreciate the nachos and the effort it took to make those from the cook and also in the delicate taste of all the variances of it? Possibly not, because I was too busy cramming it in my mouth. Another example would be I see this all the time, and you do too. And you see people on a cell videoing or taking photos of an event or scenery or something going on. You see something going on, and all of a sudden look around, and everyone's got their camera out videotaping this event. They're focused on what the camera is pointing toward rather than enjoying and truly appreciating the entire perspective of what's really happening. What they're missing out on is total appreciation of what they're trying to see or what they are seeing. Can't capture all the senses in that photo or in that videotaping. They can't capture all the wide panorama of people's reaction to it or the beauty of it, of how it makes you feel. All they got is this sterile video or picture of it, of that event. They don't have the opinion of other people. They are enjoying the moment, but are they truly appreciating the event and all of its content? When I was in Alaska, my family, we would stop and take photographs of the Alaskan panorama around us. And it was so frustrating because everywhere you looked, it was a photo moment. I mean, just gorgeous. And it got frustrating. So finally, we just quit taking pictures and just sat there and marveled at it and truly appreciated this grand creation by God. So the fulfilling, increasing power of conscious appreciation is quite obvious when it comes to eating something delicious. Now, making a point of appreciating a piece of pie or a steak rather than violently scarfing it down like a caveman increases the fulfillment derived from it in an order of magnitude or even two. It just increases it dramatically if we just appreciate it a little longer. Now, if you try to doubt this, try eating nachos as fast as you can and watch the nearby human lecture you on the point of this, which I got from my family. So appreciation is an emotion similar to gratitude. It involves honoring others while also being grateful for what we have. So let me go a little bit deeper into this because I think it's really important in our spiritual lives. The American Psychological Association defines appreciation as, quote, a sense of happiness and thankfulness in response to a fortunate event or a tangible gift. So it's more than just saying thank you. It encompasses a broader perspective of your world, a truly appreciating what you're seeing, what you're feeling, what you're thinking, whatever it may be. It can be both a state of experience that in a certain moment and a trait or like a long-term personal characteristic, a quality that you really appreciate someone being the way they are. So when you appreciate someone or something, you acknowledge the goodness in your life and recognize a source of that goodness outside of yourself by what you're seeing in someone or something. You're extending yourself into that, saying, this is greater than what I am. But at the same time, it's something in me that's recognizing that, which makes the part of you blossom inside. So there are two stages of appreciation I want to go into here. Okay, we'll get right to the spiritual aspect of this real soon here. The first stage is called acknowledgement of goodness. And this is a state of gratitude that you affirm that life is good and has elements that's worth living for. You recognize the positive aspects that you've received in your life. The second one is called recognition of external sources. Gratitude involves recognizing that the source of goodness is outside of yourself, whether it's other people, it's animals, the world, or even a higher power like our Lord. That's the recognition of external sources. So you've got the acknowledgement of goodness that's out there and the recognition of external sources. So in summary, appreciation is about recognizing the positive, expressing gratitude, and honoring others. It's a powerful way to transform what little you have into unbelievable abundance when you truly appreciate something. It's not a flashing enjoyment, but it's a total gratitude and appreciation for something that's much greater in this. Margaret Cousins made a great quote. I want to read it to you. Appreciation can change a day, even change a life. Your willingness to put it into words is all that is necessary. Isn't that great? I love that quote. So, here's a question to you. A little pop quiz for you here today. Do you appreciate and enjoy, or do you mostly just enjoy? So, question. Do you enjoy your friends and family members? But do you also appreciate them for what they mean to you? Do you enjoy a sermon, but also appreciate the work put into that short talk and the eternal message that was shared to you? Do you just enjoy your family, but do you also appreciate all they mean and do for you? Do you enjoy a delicious meal, but also appreciate the care and the skill the cook put into it? Do you enjoy God, but also fully appreciate Him in total of who He was? In our last lesson, The Bigness of God, you truly appreciate how big He is. So to be clear, by appreciate, I don't mean enjoy exactly, although you might also enjoy the experience. It can be part of that. What I mean is recognizing the unique or worthy qualities of whatever we're talking about here, of the experience itself, or like nachos for me, for example, or whatever you like, the texture of it, the aesthetics of it, the heft of it, the heat of it, the poetry in it, the poignancy of it. Whatever strikes your sensibilities when you pay attention to what's happening around you. I also don't mean thinking about the experience. You appreciate something by feeling it or sensing it or tasting it and investigating it on an experimental level, but you don't have to think at all. Appreciating and thinking are like listening and talking. They don't happen generally at the same time. When you're appreciating something, even something challenging, you really know that you're living. I mean, truly know you're living. You're truly appreciating life. And that part of life that you are looking at, that your senses are gathering in, you're thinking about, you're absorbing into your life. Someone said one time, I finally figured out the secret to appreciating life. Just laugh at yourself. You'll never run out of material. I like that. And here's another one. Appreciate the good times because eventually they'll become hilarious stories to tell at the family gatherings. Boy, isn't that the truth? Appreciate life. Appreciate everything around you. Don't just sit back and just enjoy it as a flashing moment. Once you see the magic of intentional appreciation in everything in your life and really focus in on it, you can apply it to an increasingly mundane and even subtle experience to make it into something beautiful and wonderful that's life-changing by just taking that moment. You learn to appreciate what you have before time makes it appreciate what you had. So now do it while you can. And gratitude turns what we have into fully enough in our life if we do this. So let's get into more of depth here from our Bible perspective. So without practice of active appreciation, you're resigning yourself to passive appreciation, which makes it a much rarer thing. Exceptionally pleasant experiences do happen, and they often demand your appreciation. Then you're moved by a blazing sunset or an exceptional good waiter that's helping you and working on you and helping you enjoy your meal, or the arrival of a friend that you love to bits to be in your life, and you fully anticipate them coming. You appreciate them when that event occurs with you, and you stop and you put that into your life. So by then you're appreciating only the exceptional and favorable. You could be appreciating probably 99% of life more if you would just take the time to do it. Appreciate what happens as a general ongoing practice in your life makes life so much more richer and meaningful a way, and it's so hard to express the depth that you have in your life. So take a moment today, for example, right now in your life, and think about it. What has happened to you this morning up to this date, for this moment in time when you're listening to this, that you can look back on the time before this that you can fully appreciate? What is something to go, and you stop and think about it, it's not just an enjoyable moment, but it's something if you think about what happened and what the content was, what was put into it, what was expressed in it, what what effects it had in your life. And you stop and think about that, you go, wow, that was pretty dramatic. That was exciting. That was so wonderful. I wonder how many are wonderful things that I just haven't stopped and thought about today and appreciated in my life. The person sitting to your left and right now, or possibly the event right now, listening to this lesson and appreciating the thoughts you're having and maybe the growth you're having spiritually. I hope it is anyway in your life. And you stop and think about that and say, I really appreciate the Lord speaking to me as we're talking right now. Oprah Winfrey, we've heard of her name before, said a great statement. She said, the more you praise and celebrate your life, the more there is in life to celebrate. Isn't that great? The more you appreciate and praise and celebrate in your life, the more there is to celebrate. Because you've taken just things that are just out there and you're putting depth to them. So why the appreciation habit makes such a difference becomes more obvious when you consider the alternative. Now let's go into the Bible and a quick trip through it to highlight several stories of true appreciation and gratitude to God for not only wonderful moments of his work, but what he is capable of and is doing. There are many, but here are some key ones. Let's go to number one. The first one is obvious, David's thanksgiving in 2 Samuel. Now this display, I'll let you read it on your own. 2 Samuel 22, 1 through 4. This display of these verses here is a display of genuine appreciation that teaches us that the power of recognizing God's goodness in our lives and praising him even during challenging times. That's what this lesson of 2 Samuel talks about. And furthermore, in 22:50 of that same chapter, David proclaims that he will give thanks to the Lord among the nations and sing praises to his name. So this declaration not only shows David's commitment to expressing his gratitude and appreciation publicly, but serves as a reminder that thanksgiving is not limited to personal moments, but should be shared with others if you are truly thankful. And that's a lesson we get from David. This is set by David that encourages us to make our appreciation vocal and visible as a way of acknowledging God's thankfulness and faithfulness in our lives and inspiring others to do likewise. That's what David's taught us about appreciation. Well, here's a second one. Hannah. Hannah's song of thanksgiving comes out of 1 Samuel, 2nd chapter, first 10 verses. Now, despite her years of barrenness and the ridicule she faced from those around her, because that was in the Jewish time of the Old Testament when this was an important factor of being able to bear children. And so that was very important in their faith aspect. So Hannah's heart overflowed with gratitude when God answered her prayers for a child. In her song, in 1 Samuel, she expresses deep thankfulness for God's faithfulness and provision, acknowledging that all blessings come from him. She didn't say, oh, I gave birth, I have a child. God gave it to her as a blessing because it was his will. Her words reflect for us a profound appreciation for God's sovereignty and grace despite life's struggles. That's what that teaches us. The third one is obvious. Mary Magnificat in Luke 1st chapter. In this chapter, Mary expresses her gratitude for being chosen to bear the Messiah, recognizing the greatness and mercy of God. And this appreciation aspect challenged us, readers, to consider how that we can show gratitude by lifting those who are oppressed around us and in need and lifting them up. This shows in challenging us to consider how we can be and reach out and be an instrument of God. The fourth one I want to bring up today, I got about 9 of them real quickly, is Paul's thankfulness for the Philippians. And in Philippians 1, verse 3, it starts this story. And this verses highlights the importance of expressing appreciation through actions that reflect our heart's gratitude. It challenges us to go beyond just lip service and actively demonstrate our thankfulness through actual, genuine acts of love and gratitude in how we treat other people. It challenges us to do more with what we feel in our hearts. And Paul gives an example of thankfulness for the Philippians, invites us to consider how we can appreciate those around us in a better way and don't take them for granted. Well, let's go to number 5, the leper's gratitude in Luke 17. This story shows that gratefulness and appreciation goes way beyond just more words. It requires action and heartfelt acknowledgement of the source of our blessings. It's not a passive thing, it's an action thing if we are truly grateful and we truly appreciate. It reminds us that true appreciation is transformative in leading not only to personal fulfillment, but also bringing glory and honor to God through our gratitude. That's what this is all about in the leper's gratitude story. And then we get to good old Zacchaeus. Remember him? Zacchaeus, when it climbed up in a tree. Well, this is from Luke 19. And this story demonstrates that true appreciation goes beyond words. It prompts us to make meaningful changes in our life and positive impact on those around us. It is a depth aspect of our faith. When we are truly grateful, we will change and our lives become even more grateful and appreciative. The 7th story is the Samaritan woman's appreciation from John 4. Her experience serves as an inspiring demonstration of how encountering Christ generates sincere appreciation and prompts us to share our joy with other people evangelistically. And then we have the prodigal son who returns in Luke 15. And the prodigal son return exemplifies the very concept of true appreciation, not taking blessings for granted, and acknowledging God's unending love and mercy in our life. Once again, see these stories are pouring out. And the last one I want to bring up, and there's so many more, is the widow's offering in Mark 12. This example prompts us to look beyond surface level gestures and instead recognize and value individuals for their steadfast living out their faith. The widow showed us what it means to truly be humble and appreciative of what we have and to give to God and be humble in our faith to say it's not much, but God can do so much with it. Well, what have we just heard? From the Psalms exalting God's goodness to the letters of Paul expressing gratitude for fellow believers, the Bible showcases a diverse range of ways to show appreciation. Whether it's through singing praises or giving thanks in all circumstances or displaying acts of kindness, the Bible teaches us that appreciation should be an integral part of our daily lives. We rush and we run and we do this, we do that. We've got to take the time to look at what we're doing, what we're seeing, what we're feeling, what we're observing, and truly appreciate the wonder of it and what God has done in our lives and what God is doing in the world around us. By reflecting on these biblical examples I gave you, we can cultivate a very deeper sense of gratitude and appreciate the blessings all around us. Do we really appreciate? Do we find enjoyment and are grateful for example, do we worship in our worship time? Do we truly appreciate or are grateful for the choir and for the sermon preparation and the musicians that are playing up there, the beauty of the sanctuary, the sacredness of it, the sense of holiness? Do we truly wrap our appreciation around that worship moment in every aspect of it and not just sit back and let it just hit us on a surface level? Do we truly appreciate the fellowship or the variety of people God has created? Right there, possibly in the RIM class, but also you encounter every day, people around where you live. Do we truly appreciate the variety and the diversity of people around us and all of their wonderful, exciting experiences that they share with us? Do we truly appreciate the learning and thus spiritual revelation opportunities in church when we do go to worship or we watch on our monitor or wherever it may be? Do we see where God is speaking? I've talked to you before about this in a lesson several years ago about communion. When I go forward to the altar to kneel and to take the Eucharist, I am so humbled by that event that it's almost scary for me because I realize that a sinful man is going to the foot of the cross to take into my life and to give my sins away to my Lord. I truly want to appreciate that moment to where God is changing my life and is forgiving me of my sins. And secondly, I'm truly appreciating what that man on the cross did for me. So are you truly appreciating, again, what God has done and is doing, and not only generally just in worship times? And lastly, are we paying close attention and appreciative attention to God? Are we truly looking at God in our prayers and truly expressing to Him our deepest and deepest sincere appreciation for what He is doing and has done in our lives and will do in our lives? So let's strive to emulate these examples of appreciation that we find in the Bible in our own lives and spread positivity through expressions of thankfulness and gratitude toward other people and show them that life is worthy to be appreciated. Robert Brault had a great quote, and he said this: "Enjoy and appreciate the little things of life, for one day you may look back and realize that they were big things." That's a great reminder for all of us. Well, I conclude this lesson with a story, because you know me and my stories, and I would just kind of bring it all together in a great little parable that I found in my files. So listen carefully and see if you hear appreciation in this. Once upon a time, as good stories go, in a very bustling village, nestled among the rolling hills, there lived two friends named of Jacob and Samuel. They were both talented artists who shared a passion for painting. Well, one sunny afternoon, Jacob and Samuel decided to take a stroll through the countryside to seek inspiration for their next masterpiece and all the beauty around them. And as they wandered along the winding paths, they marveled at the beauty of the nature they saw, the vibrant colors of wildflowers, the gentle rustle of leaves in the breeze, the majestic hues of a setting sun, the butterfly that goes by them, or a beautiful bird flying through the air. So as they walked, Jacob turned to Samuel and said, "Isn't it wonderful how much beauty there is in the world? I really appreciate every moment we spend in nature, just soaking in its splendor." Well, Samuel nodded in agreement, but then he said, "Yes, but for me, it's more than just appreciating the beauty. I find true enjoyment in capturing those moments on canvas, immortalizing them from the art." Jacob smiled, said, "Ah, I see. While I find joy in simply admiring nature's wonders, you find joy in interpreting and expressing them through your paintings. It's a different kind of enjoyment, but it's equally meaningful." Well, as they continued walking along, they stumbled upon a very breathtaking waterfall cascading down this rocky cliff. Well, Jacob just stood in awe, taking in the sight with a sense of wonder and appreciation. Meanwhile, Samuel immediately reached for his sketch pad and began to sketch the beauty in the scene before him, and his eyes were all alight with excitement. Well, after some time, they returned to the village, each carrying with them a different experience of their journey through nature. Jacob had appreciated the beauty of the world around him, while Samuel had enjoyed capturing the beauty through his art. From that day forward, Jacob and Samuel understood that while appreciation and enjoyment were two distinct experiences, they were equally valuable in enriching their lives. Whether marveling at a sunset or painting a landscape, they embraced the beauty of both appreciation and enjoyment, knowing that each brought their own unique fulfillment to their hearts. Appreciating God. Making sure that God, you pay close attention to God and truly appreciate and enjoy His presence in your life, what He has done for you, things that you don't even realize, and just give Him honor and glory. Give Him your heart. I appreciate you. Lord bless you. Hope you have a good week.